The BPD. I wish this channel existed 3 years ago. I would not be in this position. I made the biggest mistake of my life 3 years ago. This story is so complicated that it's hard to know where to start. There are a lot of details I will leave out to shorten the story. I fell in love with a woman on September 3rd years ago. That was the most beautiful woman, physically, Hispanic, I have ever met. She was 49 and recently divorced. I vaguely knew her age. I was 47. We had been acquaintances at a local American Legion. I had known her since years ago. 3 years ago, she was divorced and I had broken up with my girlfriend. We became friends and emailed each other all day long from work for the next 3 months. Sep 6 was our first date. We go out and have dinner and drinks. I take her home to kiss her and she won't kiss me in front of her house because of her recent divorce and the neighbors all knew her ex. So, we drive around the corner and park. She proceeds to want a good time quickly. I tell her that's not what I want. I want a long-term relationship, not a good time on the first date in my truck. Fast forward, a month in and I am so infatuated I can't see straight. We are at the watering hole and she tell me about 10 months ago 20 or so people from her work rented a mansion at Rocky Point for a week and the trip is in 2 weeks. Tells me she wants me to come along. I tell her I can't, didn't put in vacation time and didn't have any money saved for it. House poor. She says she'll pay for it. I said I am not going to Mexico with no cash to meet your coworkers at Pat's new bum boyfriend. First red flag, I didn't see, if you don't go, we are through. What? We break up because I didn't plan for a trip I didn't know anything about. We don't talk for a couple days. I call her and she finally sees my point of view. She goes on her trip and we miss each other immensely. We start having the most intense bonding at around week 6. By the 3rd month, Nov, we decide to live together. My house was much nicer than hers and I were both upsides down on our homes, so she moves in with me. Then almost immediately starts accusing me of still being in love with my ex-girlfriend who I hadn't talked to in 5 years. 3 months later, she picks a fight about ex and then leave in the middle of the night and spends 2 nights at her ex's house. I beg her, I know, to come home. She says she did it because she was jealous of and thought I loved my ex. Blame shift. Came home, had no real remorse, etc. In April, I need to marry her or we are through. She can't shack up with a guy because it's not proper. We marry in Sep 6, 2 years ago because that was our first date the year earlier. She wants a divorce within 2 months. She goes back to the ex again. I beg her to come home. See the codependent pattern. I finally do. She has run to him at least 10 times in the past 3 years. She has known him since she was 14. Every time she would say, I know you think we took 2 steps back, but I think we took 2 steps forward. What the duck? We go to marriage counseling. What a waste. W masked most of her issues in IC session. During joint sessions I am an open book. W is an illusion to everyone in public. She wears a mask. I believe I have seen several posts by Uptown who stated they are very good at putting on a face. Her is a little more in a nutshell and for some reason I thought I was different than her past relationships. 1. She has 4 kids from 3 different guys. 2. Has cheated on every man she has ever been with. 3. Had an affair with a married 31-year-old when she was 17. 4. Won't hesitate when she is mad at me to go to the bar with the daughter and give out her phone number to other guys. 5. Big one here, if she hurts my feelings and I ask her to apologize she says, I've already forgiven myself. What the hell? 6. Actually believes she is a princess, Cinderella syndrome. 7. Acted like a complete fool at a party and when I told her the next day she should apologize to the hostess she refused stating, they are arrogant people anyway. What the duck? 8. Overreacts to everything. 9. Has panic attacks in her sleep, wakes up and can't breathe. 10. Monitors my phone and accuses me of cheating on her. 11. Is emotionally distant and not affectionate. Not even with her kids, 2 grown, and 2 living with one of the exes. 12. Moved out on one ex while he was at work. She faked going in and had the movers show up while at work, leaving her 11-year-old and 13-year-old. Did the same to me in September this year. 13. It's all my fault of course. Counselor finally told us at about the 6 months range that I seemed pretty well adjusted. Then turned to Pat and said, we on the other hand have a lot of work to do. W quit going 2 sessions later. She had played the counseling game with all her exes and she quit going to all those too, telling them they should keep going though so they could find themselves. My W is very messed up, and for some crazy reason I still want her. Man, this is painful. I haven't even hit the tip of the iceberg. There is so much drama, so much catastrophic reactions to everything. No impulse control whatsoever. She even told me I was right, that she will probably end up alone. She wrote me Monday saying she would file for D after their holidays because she wants to start dating again. That almost trashed me, thinking of her having a good time with some other guys. Yet I still want her. I know I need to start counseling for myself. I obviously have it bad. I always thought we could work through the infidelity part because she was confused. Now I know, due to 3 years and an eye-opener at counseling, that she is a mess internally. She has nightmare every night and would ask me to hold her and make the zombies go away. She also has some PTSD mixed in for being shot when she was bartending when she was 27. During one session, the counselor, female who we picked, told her she exhibits a lot of borderline traits. That was close to the end of our sessions. Sorry for such a long post. I haven't even begun to hit the tip of the iceberg. It hurts so much. The highs were so high, but the lows tore out my soul, and my self-esteem is absolutely shattered. I know I am not well adjusted. I know fully well that I am codependent. Unfortunately, I didn't realize this until now. I am 50, as I have said. I was married previously for 12 years and we just grew apart. I believe I have developed this over the past 10 years as I reflect on this. I didn't used to be this way in my 20s and 30s. Anyway, I will be seeking counseling in the near future as the W has set me up to fail financially because I had to always met her demands, which I had to always charge on a credit card. She makes close to 25 grand more than me a year. But me being the man, she always had high expectations. Two things to note also: when I first started dating her, her daughter, who's 32 now, told me, "You don't want to date my mom because she is a black widow. She chews up men and spits them out." On the two occasions I spoke to my mother-in-law about some of our issues, both times all she said was, "Leave her. She's no good." I have been trying to be the smoother. It is apparent that she will never be happy with anyone. My mother-in-law and her daughter are the same way. They have never had happy, stable relationships. My family, on the other hand, are not used to divorce. I don't know what it's like to have split parents, etc. That is why I say this is hard. I am the only one in my family to have been divorced before. My STBX treats marriage like a pair of shoes. She liked them today, but tomorrow they go in the trash. I have lost myself in trying to find the man I used to be. I fell head over heels when we started dating. She was very romantic and physical. Then once I was fully committed, she changed on me. Her affection towards me, both physically, emotionally, became distant. Her desires diminished, and I thought it was because she was going through menopause. When I asked her why she changed, she said at the beginning she was trying to impress me. Now my self-esteem is shattered and I have anxiety attacks anytime she emails me. Today is especially bad for some reason. I am having difficulty accepting that it's over. I do own many things that I did that were terrible. I called her 32-year-old daughter a W because she is actually. But the reason I did was I got mad that she would take her mom out to bars and then men would try to pick up my wife. My wife, of course, loved the attention. That is what bothers me, and I know that my wife won't be loyal to the next guy she is with. She's never been loyal. I know these things now, but how do you just turn off love? That is what I am having difficulty with. I love her. She doesn't know how to really love. She never really gave herself to me emotionally. Always had barriers. My wife never really put herself in my shoes too often. There were moments she seemed to understand my pain, but they were fleeting at best. She is totally self-absorbed. Everything was always on her terms. Very selfish and self-centered. She told me she has always been catered to. Mentioned many times that she has always been a trophy wife, both with money and looks. She rifles through men like there's no tomorrow. But she has the charm to pull it off. That's where I got sucked in. She loves the attention and she never seemed to care that it bothered me. Almost every time she would leave for a few days, she would go out and make friends with other guys. Once we split for a week. When we got back together, she had a message on her phone from some guy wondering if she was still going to meet him at a bar. It infuriated me. Come on, how doormat at that. In one of our arguments I once stated, if I pass away, can you at least wait until they cover me with dirt before you start sleeping with someone else? It made her mad, but I was being serious. But she quickly tries a man and is ready to move on for the new high of someone showing affection on her. Just found out last night she is hooked up with the ex-husband before me. She has left him 4 times in the past for someone else, me being the last one. Her relationship with him won't last. She isn't capable of lasting relationship. A co-worker of hers is my friend also. She is the one that called me and said she thought I deserved to know. The co-worker also said that everyone in her office has turned on my STBX. She said how arrogant and stuck up my wife acts at work have turned everyone against her. My wife even told them, not everyone can be a trophy wife like me. Her issues stem from her mother. Her mother is 77 and has really bad arthritis. Is hunched over, etc. Her mother thinks she is the bomb. We hook up my MIL several times with older guys. Every time my MIL would treat them poorly, put them down, etc. My STBX is shallow, selfish, makes statements all the time like, it's all about me, everything is on my terms, etc. Very low self-esteem. That's why she needs a man around. But the minute the new feeling wears off, she's down the road. The reason she went back to him is all the others won't take her back. She is very good looking, but very ugly inside when her true self comes out. He is not that bright of a person. When we met, all her coworkers, friends, if you can call them that, and family said I was the best one she has been with. I soaked that up. However, over time she broke what was once a confident man and shattered my self-esteem. All this is in hindsight, of course. While I was 100% in, I couldn't see through the fog. I overlooked every red flag because I was head over heels for her and would do anything. That's why I got in financial debt. She makes $25,000 more than me, but she demanded stuff on her terms. Being married, I thought we would pay for it together over time. Stupid me. I have maxed one of my credit cards. Her name isn't on it. When I asked her 2 months ago about the debt, she said, "That's your problem." I do fear she will come back. However, I know that it won't be anytime soon. I will give them a year. They had so much bad blood between them. However, 3 years have passed. They don't remember the bad they had between them. It will all come to the surface eventually. By then I will have moved on. She will never be in my life again. However, I am not there yet because I felt so hard for her. She is basically the one doing the 180. She doesn't need money. She has blocked my cell phone and made it absolutely clear that I am not wanted in her life. She checked out on my several months before she left. If you read my original thread, I was married to a serial cheater who cheated on all her men before me. My issue is I was truly head over heels in love with her, so it's hard to just turn it off. We had a very rocky 3 years together and she always gave ultimatums. She made it clear she could just walk out of the marriage because that's just the way she is. Christmas Day was actually much better than the eve. I hung out with friends and had a pretty decent time. Word has it from one of her work friends that contacted me as she is already seeing someone else. I know it won't last because that's the way she is, but in the meantime, she won't miss me because she has someone else to occupy her mind. I try not to think about her, but then something will trigger and I get a rush of emotions. I really don't try to contact her because when I do, she just says hateful things that make me feel worse. I don't see how people can just move from one relationship to another so quickly. When we did counsel, the therapist told my wife she had a lot of unresolved issues and appeared to have BPD. That's when my wife quit counseling. She can't face someone telling her she has issues. Her ego is too fragile. Funny thing is, I know why she can't be genuine. Her dad cheated on her mom all the time. She told me all men cheat, so she does it first. That's how she can be emotionally detached. She is into the idea that nothing lasts forever. It's all part of her heavy borderline traits. It's weird. She is extremely attractive, yet she has huge self-image and self-esteem issues. She needs constant validation from men to improve her self-worth in her mind. She makes very good money, so she isn't dependent on anyone for that. But you are right, she isn't worth me pursuing her because it would be drama anyway. I am having a hard time with the fact I met someone who will eventually end alone. She can't be fixed and I know this. I just don't want to accept it. That's my hurdle. I do want to try and fix her, but BPD people can't be fixed. This is how she has been for over 30 years. Being almost normal, codependent issues. I am not used to this type of behavior in a relationship. She told me that several times when she was demanding something from me. She made it clear several times that she can walk out of any relationship if she doesn't get her way. She called me on Sunday morning at 3:30 a.m. Didn't leave a message or anything. So, I emailed her this morning and asked what she wanted. This crazy lady said she was missing me. This lady has put me through emotional hell for 3 years with cheating on me with her ex. With bonding, and basically, I allowed her to walk all over me. She moved out while I was at work and vanished. Now 3 months later, she misses me. I hate this. I am so in love with her I can't see straight. But she is toxic. I am trying hard not to fall back into her trap. Regarding why I love her, she is fun to be with when she isn't wigging out. I just love being around her. When I first met her, it was the classic love at first sight thing. I never felt that with my previous wife, nor with anyone else. She can be very loving, but she has a dark side also. Yesterday my wife called and was crying because I had told her I was seeing someone. She asked me if I wanted to meet with her last night after work. Of course, I did because I am so in love with her. We talked for about 3 hours. We had a better talk than when we went to counseling. I told her about this site and the things I have learned, like rug sweeping, blame shifting, etc. She told me she doesn't want a divorce. She is hugely jealous that I am seeing someone. She says she has dated 2 guys in the last 3 months, but she said all they want to do is get into her pants. Of course they do. My wife is very pretty. She said she can't connect with anyone because I am her baseline and no other guys seem to be able to match that. I told her I thought she was using me as plan B and she said I was being ridiculous. We talked about why things spun out of control and the issue I have with her adult children. We live on opposite sides of town and she said she wanted to work out our marriage. I told her I didn't want to live with her and that marriage counseling would be a must. She agreed. She also had me listen to a voicemail from a guy she went out with 2 times. What a pig. This guy was vulgar and talked about all the nasty things he wanted to do to her. The way he talked, I could tell that she hadn't been physical with him yet. She said she thought he was nice, but she is grossed out about he left the voicemail. I will say this about my wife. With all her issues, she doesn't appreciate being talked to in that manner, and I know this. She said she wishes she could replace me, but she said nobody can compare to me. I know I am probably making a mistake, but I have to try. I could tell last night she is in love with me still, but her baggage needs to address. Back to when I mentioned she called me Sunday at 3:30 in the morning. Later that morning her phone rang and it was this guy she had met 2 days ago. She didn't answer and then he left the voicemail. It was very vulgar. obscene and creepy about what he wanted to do to her VJ, etc. Like I said before, I could tell by the way he was using his words he had not done anything with my wife. My wife isn't crude like that and it scared her. She barely knows the guy, 2 days. My wife has really never been in the dating scene since she was 24. She's 52. Most of the people she has been with are connected in some fashion with the exception of me. We happen to become friends because we belong to the same veteran organization. She freaked out about the VM, and yes, I believe she saved it for me to hear so I would believe her when she told me the story. Also, I should point out there are so many intricacies that it's hard to type them all with clarity so others can understand. My wife doesn't possess very good coping skills. When she was young, her mom used to be jealous of her because of all the attention her father gave her. Her mom used to call her fat and put her on a diet when she was 8. I have witnessed firsthand her mother say things to her that are obviously cruel. So I believe the stories I have been told from her youth. She was present when her mother stabbed her father. Additionally, when she was a single mother at 27, she was working a second job at night as a bartender. One of the patrons that she knew came into the bar and shot her. The bar manager and another customer. It took her 6 months to recover due to having part of her stomach and a few feet of her colon removed. This is why my wife has issues trusting people. This is why I am trying to convey that she doesn't go out and bang strangers. Due to my wife's lack of self-esteem from the childhood drama. She is very fragile and does not take criticism well. Additionally, due to the coping skills issue, she doesn't handle situational stresses. This is why when we have intense arguments, she thinks I might harm her. I have never touched her violently. And she runs away, usually to her ex-husband or her daughter's house. I have seen her start to panic when we have been out to a bar and people are getting loud. Not loud in an angry sense, loud due to the amount of people there. The music, etc. It's pretty obvious she has PTSD on top of all the other issues. Money won't be an issue for her. She makes 80 grand a year. She doesn't need anybody's money. She needs help with the multitude of issues that haven't been addressed in 40 plus years. She never challenges her mother when she is being mean. When my mother-in-law says something offensive to me, I put her in check. But this bothers the wife since it's her mom. I have told her to quit putting up with it, but she won't do anything. My mother-in-law is 77, has severe arthritis. Makes up stories to make the ancestors look good. Top it off, she thinks she's the bomb and is very condescending to the older men where she lives. A month or two later, my wife and I separated last September. She basically stated that she didn't want anything to do with me ever again. At the beginning of January, I had a one-night stand with someone she knows. They aren't really friends, but we have mutual friends that know her. Anyway, about a week after this, my wife wanted to argue with me. I told her what had happened because I didn't want anyone else telling her and thinking I was trying to hide it. This has come up ever since. When she gets mad at me, she is saying things like, "You need to go be with X. I know you love her. You would be better off with her." I know that she says this because she is jealous and hurt, but I keep saying that she threw me away, and what was I supposed to do? Sit back like a hermit? Meanwhile, she went out on dates but swears she did not sleep with them. I believe this because my wife isn't a jump-in-bed type until she knows them better. She can't get past the fact I slept with this woman, especially since we don't really have anything in common. I was drunk and she wanted to get a good time. So, I did it. My problem is she won't let it go. And we just go in circles on this issue. By the way, after that she made contact and wanted to then I disclosed what I had done because I did to want someone. We knew in our circle of friends to tell her. I wanted her to hear it from me. There is no infidelity here. She just can't get past the fact I slept with someone even though for 4 months she didn't want anything to do with me. Basically, when she told me to get lost and move on, I did. Now she is trying to hold me accountable for this. I didn't cheat. She threw me away first, then I had my one-night stand. 4 months after she threw me away. She can be rational when she is calm. She will say things like she has no right to be mad at me because she did throw me away. She says her stubbornness got the best of her. When she is not being rational, she tells me I should go be with the Ons and that I should be with the Ons and how much better off I would be. She just vents and lets her emotions dominate her thinking. When she calms down, I can eventually talk to her. However, this has gone on since January. I think enough is enough. She left me and told me to move on. I did, and now she is mad that I didn't turn into a hermit. It thinks it borders on control. She was trying to punish me by not wanting me in her life. When that backfired, she can't handle it. The Ons was in the final stages of divorce. About 2 weeks before it was final. What stopped it was 2 reasons. The Ons and myself knew it wouldn't go anywhere. She wanted some, and so did I. The additional reason was my wife called the day after the Ons and wanted to work things out. We had been separated 4 months at that point. Update, she hasn't brought up OW for over 2 weeks now. I think the counseling is helping with this also. We are currently attempting my wife seems to thrive on drama. Edgy. It wears on me, but I love the heck out of her. It's weird. Love TV's comment. To be honest, he likes the drama as well. He finds her attractive after everything he mentioned. I think they really fit each other. Story 2. Let me begin by saying I left him almost 6 months ago. We were having a very rough time, not communicating, and generally our marriage sucked. I packed up, left, and informed him I wanted a divorce. During the past 6 months, his mother passed away. He didn't call. And we did not speak at all until a few weeks ago. When we spoke, we discovered we both had prayed for the other to soften their hearts, and we realized we wanted to make our marriage work instead of divorce. Well, when his mother passed, he reconnected with a high school sweetheart and mother of his first child. She moved in with him, and now he is asking me to wait until he can work that situation out and he and I, can move forward. I am so lost right now. I want to get on our road to our ever after but cannot get past her being around. Any words would be great. I am a mess. We talk about these feelings and there is no ambiguity about how he felt when I left. He even tells me, "See, now you know how I felt." I get that. I get that he needs this and he needs to work this out in his time. I get that he needs to have faith in me again. It is just not easy. I have not told a soul about what's really going on because we agreed to trust in each other. I know the day is coming where we can move forward. It hurts so bad that I have put him in this situation. Tell me more about what you would have wanted your ex to do. I am willing to do anything to salvage and restore my marriage. I love him dearly. I refuse to get my family involved until we are on steady ground. I admit, our friends and family were too involved in our marriage and contributed to the breakdown. We both recognize that. I feel like pulling back quite often because I think about what's going on in his home. It's really hard to stay hopeful, even when he tells me that his goals are in line with mine, and we share the same desire. I just want him to get rid of her and we can start building. I don't even have to move in right away. I do not pull back though. I write letters every night. I mail them every day. I let him know my ups and downs and my fears, my confusions, and let him know that I'm positive our marriage will be stronger because of this situation. The thing that eats me daily is this is totally my fault. I should not have left. We talk every day. He says he loves my letters and can see that I have opened up to him in a way that I haven't in the entire 8 years we've known each other. We text several times a day and he reassures me that I just have to be patient. He says he loves only me and feels he is in a bad situation since he asked her to move in with him. He really thought we were over, even after praying we weren't. I know he is incredibly confused. I get that. I know she was there for him and he doesn't want to hurt her by asking her to leave. But what is he supposed to do? What else can I do? I think about the no contact thing and only responding when he calls or texts. But he calls always. I made it funny that now we are having an affair and we are married. It wasn't funny, but it's ironic. He asks me to reassure him that I am here to stay. He says if I can survive this, I can survive anything. I feel so helpless at times. And yet, this is my debt. I am the quivering baby. I spoke with him during my lunch break as a friend would and jokingly suggested he had his cake and was eating it too. We have always been good friends, able to talk about anything. We just lost it for a while due to anger and BS. He sounded broken when I said those words and told me I didn't understand really what he was going through. He admitted he made a terrible mistake by having her move in and feels like he effed up. He tells me over and over he loves me and he knows this will work out. I too am leaning toward no contact if just to give myself some space. I will continue to write him, it just feels good, but won't mail them out right away. I will keep everyone posted. It's only Monday and the bad feelings creeping after work. About a year later. Details. A little over 2 months ago, my H received a text from his adult son that he and his GF were being evicted for not paying rent. H ignored the texts initially because his son is known for not wanting to work or be responsible. The son did not text for a while and it was later discovered he was living with an aunt. About a month ago, the aunt called stating that she had to go out of town and she did not want him and the GF in the house while she wasn't there. It was supposed to be a few days, but I figured out that she used the going out of town as a way to get him out of her home. Well, he calls Dad as he is supposed to. My H talks with me about the situation. We were both under the impression that the GF was working, but his son was not, and we developed a game plan for them based upon her due date. They have until Sep to move out and they would have to pay $500 per month to help out with expenses. As we know, you cannot live anywhere for free. 2 weeks after getting settled, the GF lost her job. The first month the rent was due, they were short $200. The son took a temp job but has not gotten paid yet, and it's looking bleak that they will have rent for June. Which brings me to why I talk and pray and throw my worries on the altar for God to handle. I am attempting to support my H and the family, but it is really challenging when they do not want to support themselves. I ask H daily what his game plan in the event they cannot pay in June. I ask what I should prepare myself for in the upcoming months. Should I get ready to have a newborn in the house when we have juniors in HS? Should I get in the mindset that perhaps they will be here until we get rid of the house next year when we move into a condo? Our boys suffer from the added expense of providing meals for 2 to 3 extra mouths. I'm adding the GF twice because she is pregnant. And then the increased expenses of maintaining a household. Water, laundry, gas, etc. This does not include they want to drive the cars but cannot put fuel in them. I feel like a wicked witch. I want to be so mean that they want to leave. I want to starve them and not care. I want to hoard my funds for the kids and not worry about them at all. I want to put their stuff on the street to force them to start showing concern for what they will do next. I want to yell as soon as I walk in the door from work and they are hanging out in my kitchen, my relaxed place. I want to yell when they go in my bedroom and take things out without asking. I am angry because they want to feel at home here and I could give two craps about how they feel. So, I am venting to you all. I am attempting to gather different perspective about this. I feel horrible, mean, selfish, hurt, undervalued, angry and all out, ready for them to go all at the same time. H is working full-time and we contribute equally to the household. What I mean by supporting H are his decisions. Not financially. H was widowed about 10 years back. I believe he made promises to take care of her son regardless. Son uses his mother as a crutch to not take care of himself. I attempt to walk my role and support his decisions. H and I just are a little over a year ago. This situation is really taking a toll when all I desire is to focus on working together, supporting one another so our marriage has a fighting chance. Days later, sometime during the day, the son took the car and blew husband's engine. This was the eye-opener for him and he put them out. It's amazing how God works. My comment: did you guys like these 2 short stories? Just some lighter stories before I prepare for a next major story. And I will see you in the next one.